So we are going to set up now down on hands and knees. I've got the soft ball in between those knees. Just got the knees close enough just to hold it there gently, and feet are relaxed straight back behind you. I've got wrists slightly forward of shoulders, top of the head reaching forward, and we are going to work gently into cat to start with. So we're just going to breathe out, round that back up, and breathe in to lengthen back out again. So you are thinking, as always, that that tailbone is coming forward and up towards the base of the sternum. So your tailbone back here coming forward and up towards the base of the sternum to get that lower back rounding, and then lengthening out. So the tailbone reaches out behind you, top of the head reaches forwards. Keep a bit of lift through your tummy, so you don't just sink into extension. You're coming back to a really long line from your tailbone to the top of your head, and then rounding up as you breathe out. Breathing in, lengthening out. Breathing out, rounding up. It's going to go a couple more like that. Breathing out, rounding up. Breathing in, lengthening back out again. One more time. So we're going to stay in this nice neutral position now. You really feel like the top of your head is reaching forward. So if you had your ponytail again, someone's pulling your ponytail forward to keep that length through the back of the neck. We're keeping a press through those hands into the floor to keep the rib cage floating up, elbows are staying straight, and we've got those shoulders drawing away from the ears. We're going to tuck the toes under, and we're going to breathe out to squeeze into that ball and just hover it just away from the mat. Hold it here for a couple of breaths. And come gently down again. Going to go same again. Really keep drawing those shoulders away from the ears. Keep the rib cage floating up. Breathe out. Squeeze into that ball. Hover it up. Check your weight has not come forwards. It stays back into those toes. If you struggle with your shoulders, you can bring those hands back a little to make it slightly easier. But ideally, we want those hands slightly forward of shoulders. So same again. Breathe out. Squeeze into that ball. Hover it. Only just leaves the floor. The higher you come, the easier it gets. We want to keep the weight back into the toes and just hover those knees. Gently down. We're going to go 3 more like this. Float the rib cage up, draw the shoulders away from the ears, breathe out, hover that ball, hold it for a couple of breaths. Gently down. 2 to go. Keep the weight back into those feet. Keep the shoulders drawing away from the ears. Gently down. 1 more time. Hover, hold it there and breathe. Shoulders drawing away from the ears again. Tummy lifted, chest floating up. And gently down. And just drop your bottom back to your heels. Have a couple of nice deep breaths there. And then we're going to come back up. Now I'm well aware wrists may well be struggling by now. So we're going to take the ball. We're going to trap it in behind the back of one leg and come down onto your forearms to give those wrists a breather. Now when you come down onto your forearms, it's very easy to kind of sink into a horrible position through your shoulders. So really keep lifting out the shoulders and really keep those shoulders drawing away from the ears. We are then going to breathe out to take that leg back and up. Breathe in to come back down again. Keep drawing those shoulders away from the ears. And keep your gaze down. Don't look forwards or up. It's going to squash the back of your neck. Keep the gaze down. So breathing out to send that leg up. Breathing in to come back down. You're only going to go for 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to try and take that knee out to the side. Reach it wide. Jolly hard work. Keep lifting out those shoulders. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, and then you're going to see if you can circle. Take the leg back and up and then out and around. Back and up, out and around. 3 more in this direction. I know it's getting tough. Take a breather if you need one. 1 more this way, then we're going to take it the other way. Out, back and up, down and around. Out, back and up, down and around. 3 to go. Oh, make sure it goes out first. Up and then back and around. Out, up and around. 1 last one. Good job. Take that ball out from underneath there. Drop yourself back into shell stretch. Have a few nice deep breaths. If you feel your shoulders are struggling, bring yourself up. Have a good roll through those shoulders. Move. You can do some arm circles. Whenever anything feels like it's struggling, try and move through that. Okay. Couple more deep breaths, and then we are going to do the same with the ball on the other leg. So when we're ready, come back up. Trap that ball at the back of that leg. Make sure it's properly stuck in there. Down onto those forearms. So again, lift out the shoulders. Top of the head reaching forward. Shoulders drawing away from those ears. And then breathe out to send that leg back and up. Breathe in to come back down again. Keep the lift through the tummy. You are trying to stay as level across the back of that pelvis as we can. So in theory, nothing is changing through your body position. It's all that movement coming from the ball and socket joint at the hip. Just go for 3, 2, 1. Then you're going to take that knee out to the side. If any of you really struggle down in this position on your forearms, if you could find like a sort of low stool or a sort of really sturdy box, like one of those Reebok step type things is quite good. Bring yourself up onto there, but stay on your forearms, and that will make it a little bit easier. We've got 3 more to the side. 3, 2, 1, and then we're going to circle. Back and up, and then out and around. Back and up, out and around. Should be able to feel those bum muscles working. We're also going to be working those hamstrings on that leg with the ball. Go 2 and 1, and then we're going to take it the other way. 5 in the other direction. Out and then back and up and around. Out, back and up and around. 2 to go. Last one. Well done. Bring that knee down. Bring that ball out from underneath there. Rearrange your clothing and then come down into shell stretch and have a nice little breather there. Gently bring yourself up. Have a roll through those shoulders. Have a roll through those wrists. Okay, we are going to come have a little lie down on our backs now. So we're still going to go, or we are going to go ball in between the knees. Grab your head cushions. You all want some head cushions. Just get mine. I just have my nice little picnic rug that lives out here. So it doesn't matter whether it's a little folded towel or whatever, as long as you have a bit of support for the back of your head. It's only under your head, that head cushion, not under your neck. So your neck has the opportunity to just sink down and you keep the length through the back of the neck there. Ball in between his knees. We want the feet hip width apart, arms nice and long by your sides, and just check you feel like you're in a relatively straight line. You can also have a little peer down the front of your body, just to have a check. And then we're going to have a few deep breaths here. So breathe in, fill that body up with air, breathe out. And just let your body sink down into the mat. And then we're going to add a tilt to that pelvis. So as you breathe out, that pelvis is going to tilt towards you. And as you breathe in, that pelvis is going to tilt away from you. I hold my hands up out of the way just so you can see. Breathing in, pelvis tilts away. Breathing out, pelvis tilts towards you. So just getting that lower back rounding, coming into the mat a little bit, and there's a little bit of extension coming up away from that mat a little bit. And then when we're ready, as we breathe out and tilt the pelvis towards us, we're going to squeeze into the ball. And as we breathe in and tilt the pelvis away from us, we're going to release the squeeze on that ball. And as you do that, start to tune into your feet. Have you got equal press into each foot? Have you got equal squeeze into the ball from each side? Have a check whether you've got equal contact through both sides of the back of the pelvis, underneath that lower back. So, i.e., how much pressure can you feel into the mat on each side of your back, underneath the back of the pelvis, underneath the lower back, and then coming higher up as well. Is it the same underneath each side of the back of the rib cage? So you're really tuning into where you can feel that contact with the floor. And then have a think about your shoulders. Can you feel the floor underneath the back of each shoulder? Is it the same on each side? Could you find a little bit more contact across the back of each shoulder with the mat? And we're still going with our tilt and squeeze into the ball. Breathing out to tilt towards and squeeze. Breathing in to tilt away and release. So we've got inner thighs working, bum muscles working, tummy muscles working, pelvic floor working. So all of those are switching on as we breathe out and squeeze into the ball. And then breathing in, and they're all relaxing, lengthening as we breathe in and release the squeeze on the ball. And it is just as important that you can get that full release as it is to switch all the muscles on. If those muscles are kind of held on all the time, they just get very weak and very tired, very stuck. They need to be able to switch on, switch off, especially your pelvic floor. It's a really elastic muscle, should be all the time sort of working like a little, not quite like a little trampoline, but it needs that ability to lengthen and shorten as we breathe, that breath cycle. Every time we breathe, pelvic floor should be lifting a little and then lengthening a little. And that happens without us thinking about it, so don't sort of panic about that. Obviously, this is really exaggerating the whole sort of mechanics of it. As you breathe out, tilt the pelvis towards and squeeze, that's getting everything switching on. And as you breathe in, everything relaxes just a little. Okay. We are going to take this up into a little bridge. So have a pause, take your head cushions out of the way, bring your heels a little bit closer towards you. And this time we're going to breathe out, squeeze into the ball, roll the pelvis towards you, and just peel up into your bridge. Hold for a breath in, keep the squeeze on the ball, and then breathe out and peel gently back down, still keeping the squeeze on the ball. Once you're all the way down, have a breath in, release your squeeze, and then breathe out, squeeze into that ball and roll up. Hold the squeeze as you breathe in at the top. Breathe out, keep squeezing into that ball as you roll down. Have a breath in and a release at the bottom. And just keep going with that. Again, really equal press through each foot as you peel up, equal squeeze into the ball, equal press into each foot as you peel down. Release at the bottom, same again. Check you've got equal contact through the back of your body as you peel up and as you peel back down. And just check the weight comes into the back of your shoulders as you peel up, not the back of your head. Just going to go for a couple more. Breathe out, squeeze into the ball, peel up, keep that squeeze into the ball as you breathe in at the top and as you breathe out to peel back down again. One more time. All the way back to neutral. Grab your head cushions back. Get them organised. Make sure we're comfy and then just draw the knees into the chest. Have a little rock side to side. Just release off there. And then when we're ready, we're going to reset back with that ball in between the knees. We're going to bring the feet all the way together. So you've got your feet touching each other. Make sure they feel level. Arms wide. And we are going to let those knees roll across to one side. Look over the opposite shoulder. and then roll across to the other side. Look over the opposite shoulder. Now just look at my feet. One foot should come off the floor each time, so that allows those legs to move as one unit. They don't change position. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause with the knees over to one side, have a breath in, release the pressure on the ball. Breathe out, squeeze into that ball to draw the knees across to the other side. Pause for your breath in, release the pressure on the ball. Breathe out, squeeze into that ball to send the knees across again. So nice and slow, pausing for your breath in, releasing on that ball, breathing out, squeezing into that ball and rolling those legs across. Pausing for the breath in and release. Breathing out to squeeze into that ball and roll across. Your inner thighs connect up through your pelvic floor into the oblique muscles on the opposite side. So by activating those inner thighs, we're really activating into these oblique muscles, which are helping to turn the legs across. So working to those waist muscles. Should be a bit clearer on that. That's a sort of myofascial sling there, your anterior oblique sling. So it's not like the muscles join into each other exactly, but they're connected by the fascial tissue. And you have fascia everywhere through your body. It's really fascinating stuff. If you don't know much about it and you're interested, there's a good guy called Tom Myers. He does anatomy trains, amazing books that he's done. Some very cool videos and stuff on YouTube as well. But a lot of the time, if we struggle with tightness or asymmetries, it won't necessarily just be our muscles. It's more likely to be the fascial tissue as well. You kind of train your fascia. Well, you train everything all the time without realizing it. Whatever you're doing, you're training your musculoskeletal system. But fascia especially, it can either be lovely and slidey and glidey and move beautifully in all directions, or quite often it'll get stuck somewhere and a little bit stiff, or if you've had an injury somewhere, you might just have a little area that doesn't slide and glide and move and stretch as it should. And because we're kind of put together in these myofascial chains, if you have a little bit of a sticky point somewhere, it might affect somewhere else, somewhere different in the chain. Oh, it's a lot of chat for a Monday morning. Right, go one more. And then come back to centre. Have a pause, reset those feet back to hip width apart. Have a roll of that pelvis backwards and forwards again. And just settle now, so we are nice and neutral. We've got a little tiny pocket of air under the middle of the lower back. Back of the rib cage is heavy into the mat. Shoulders nice and wide, arms long. Now we are just going to squeeze into the ball this time, but without changing our position at all. All that's going to happen is those knees move closer together and then come apart a little bit. So really think about what you can feel under the back of your body, where that little gap is underneath the middle of your lower back, and just check that stays exactly the same as you breathe out, squeeze into the ball, breathe in and release. So now we've kind of taken your glutes, your bum muscles out of the equation. Your bum should be staying nice and relaxed. We've just got inner thighs switching on and then releasing off. And for the riders, it's really important you can use your inner thighs independent of your glutes. If every time you try and put a leg on, your bum muscles go into overdrive, it's going to pop you up out of the saddle and make you quite sort of unstable there. So we'll still be getting some pelvic floor activity, still be getting some tummy muscle activity, but the bum muscles have just been taken out of the equation. Just got that squeeze and then release. And if this is something you find difficult, if you find you always like tilt backwards when you squeeze, this is really important to work on. Think about your tailbone staying heavy into the mat as you breathe out and squeeze into the ball. And you can do this with a magic circle. You could do it with a cushion or whatever if you haven't got a ball. Okay, have a pause. Have a roll of that pelvis backwards and forwards, just reset neutral again. So we're going to add a little bit in. We're going to breathe out, we're going to squeeze into the ball, and then we are going to straighten one leg. Fold back Release the squeeze on the ball and then go again. So breathe out, squeeze into that ball, straighten the leg, fold back, breathe in and release. So it's a long old breath out to squeeze, straighten, fold back, breath in and release. And we're aiming to try and keep those knees in exactly the same position. So it's a bit of a spatial awareness and proprioceptive challenge. Your knee is only straightening, so it shouldn't lift or lower. In theory, that ball should be able to stay completely still as you straighten and then return. So when it goes wrong, it looks a bit like this. Hopefully when it goes right, it looks a little bit more like this. And you'll feel those quads are having to work. They're having to pull that lower leg up in line. Also stabilising a little bit through your middle. Check the pelvis stays nice and level as that leg straightens. We're just going to go for 2 and 2 and 1 and 1 and come gently back. Well done. Take that ball out from between the knees, just bring the legs together, take the arms wide and just let those legs roll to the one side and then roll to the other side. So just a nice bit of work for inner thighs, some bum muscle work, getting into the pelvic floor, tummy muscles. I will do some more videos with the softball for you guys. Okay, just gently roll yourselves all the way over onto hands and knees. We're going to tuck those toes. Actually, we won't make our way up to stand because I'm going to run out of space on my screen. So we'll drop it back into a little shell. Just have a couple of nice deep breaths into the back of the body there. And then walk those hands back up. And then you, if you want to, can bring yourself up to stand and do a few roll downs. Hope you enjoyed that one. Let me know how you got on with it.